as I said, you don't need much big introduction because everyone knows you and your achievement. Apart from Toastmasters, they have achieved a lot of things. In the year 2006, he joined Toastmasters. Just 7 years into Toastmasters, he quitted his well-paid sales and marketing job. I'm not saying that Toastmasters is the reason, but he had bigger dreams. He pursued his bigger dream. He opened his own firm in marketing and sales. And he is the founder and managing director of the most coolest and creative marketing firm in Chennai. That's Toss the Coin. He graduated from the prestigious BITS Pilani and took various leadership roles, firms like CSS Corp, DXC, and California Software. He also took part of interview panel of various management schools, including IIM, and he's the charter member of Professional Speaker Association India. He's the greatest motivation speaker, executive coach, and a corporate trainer. He has delivered more than 1,100 speeches, and this is going to be his 1,101th speech, I believe.
All right. So I think again his internet got cut. So this is why Aarti, I want Guru to introduce me. You left out the most important part of my bio. And if people don't find my session useful, at least they should carry some motivation from the bio that he read out. So that is why, as a precaution, I asked him to read that. So the first session is over. How to shamelessly write a bio is what you just heard from Guru. Go ahead and write as many nice things about yourself. So now here I am a little serious. If you don't love yourself, you don't appreciate yourself, the world is not going to recognize you at all. It's not going to recognize. Don't think, no, I'm humble, I don't want to praise about myself. You don't have to give that piece of paper to the rest of the world, but you should know about your potential. That's immensely important. And I was a solid example of this transformation. I was the shortest in the class. I was extremely shy. I was an introvert. I couldn't speak any of the languages that I'm supposed to speak properly. I'm a Keralite, but my Malayalam was pathetic. I grew up in Tamil Nadu. My Tamil was not even existent. I studied in an English medium school. English was probably 1 out of 10. My second language was Hindi. If you show me some letters of Hindi, I won't even recognize that as Hindi. So that's how horrible my linguistic proficiency was when I was a child. But all this put together put me inside a shell, and I grew up in that shell, in my own shell, my own dreams, nothing that I was confident enough to share to the rest of the world. But over time, I realized that this is not the way to live. I need to come out of this shell. So the best way to come out of this shell is start appreciating my potential. Whatever be that, you define that potential, but keep patting your back all the time. Keep patting all the time, keep patting. People might have a different opinion about you. That's not your problem. You can never change that. But you can always alter your opinion about yourself. You are the author. And be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself. Maybe people will have negative comments to pass when you commit a mistake. Yet, be the only one who will forgive yourself. Be the only one who forgive yourself. But also, at the same time, tell yourself, be careful next time. Don't repeat this mistake. Make a new one. Don't repeat this mistake, but make a new one. Give that lever to yourself, because after all, we are all humans. So we are bound to make mistakes. People have their opinion about those mistakes that you commit, but your opinion about the mistake that you commit is, it's okay. But what did you learn from that mistake, and how can I avoid it going forward? So that's the only thing you need to tell yourself. And if you're convinced, you're absolutely fine. The reason why I'm giving this philosophical gyan is to tell you that creativity starts at the end of this feeling. Creativity starts at the end of this feeling, not anywhere in between. So you need to be appreciative of yourself. You need to be pardoning of yourself. You need to be excited about yourself. Other than your mother, starting with, and probably your father, You got to be excited about yourself. Over time, they might lose that excitement for whatever reasons, but you should never lose that excitement. And this is where creativity starts. Now, today, my subject is being creative within the boundaries, within the boundaries. So don't worry that you are inside a shell. That's a world in itself. That's a world in itself. And now figure out how do I, express myself inside that world. If you don't express yourself inside your own world, you won't be able to express yourself to the outside world. You can probably yet go and express yourself to the outside world without even expressing yourself inside your own world, but you won't be able to validate what you're expressing outside. You won't be able to validate. This has happened to me. I'm just sharing my personal experience. I've not read this in any book, so I might be wrong. Don't take me verbatim, but I'm just talking about what I've experienced myself. I'm probably the longest survivor inside a shell. The longest survivor inside a shell. It took me ages to get out of that shell and then come out in the open. And I would, like rightly said by Guru and Aarti, I would immensely thank Toastmasters for that. When I say Toastmasters, it's not the fraternity, it is the people in Toastmasters. So I'm going to stress here, people can make a huge difference in our lives. They can make a huge difference in our lives. Positive and negative. You need to be open to both. There have been a lot of criticizers for my work. It starts with my boss. I want you at this point of time, remember all those bosses you have had in your life who have criticized your work. And then you started doubting your capability. You started doubting your potential. So today I want all of you to think about the same boss and say, get lost. If that boss is still your boss, please stay calm. We still have time. Don't jump and do that. Right? But I want you to think, because this mind is one of the fantastic things in the world. There are so many things that happen inside that mind. But you know where the trouble starts? The mouth. When you bring those out through your mouth, the trouble starts. So I want you all to find some time for yourself. I'm sure many of you do that. Find some time for yourself. Meaning when you are awake, when you're totally awake, when your mind is awake, find some time for yourself and stay away from any distraction that could be. Any distraction. It could be your mobile phone. It could be some people around. Go to one place and give this mind of freedom to think. Give this mind freedom to think. That means don't bring in boundaries like logic, possibility. Is it even useful? Will people find it stupid? None of these boundaries, right? You will have to define. Give it a free thinking space and start thinking about any damn thing. It could even as simple as thinking about how can my next tea that I'm going to make can be different. How can my next tea that I'm going to make can be different? I'm talking about this tea because just 15 minutes before this session, I decided that I will make tea for myself. It's a rarity. I love tea, but I thought I'll make tea for myself. And then when I went and took the pan, filled it with water, I was just thinking, how can I make this different? How can I make this different? And I'm making it for myself. So I'm not having anybody to validate it. I'm going to validate it myself. So the fear of ridicule, the fear of validation, the fear of judging is suddenly vanished, is absolutely vanished. And then I started experimenting. I decided to put all kinds of spices that I can lay my hands on. All kinds of spices. You will laugh at it. I sprinkle a little bit of turmeric powder. I sprinkle a little bit of chili powder. Then I thought I'll make it a little more spicier in the throat. I sprinkle a little bit of pepper. Then ginger. Then cardamom. Then cinnamon. Every damn thing went into that. Oh, the flavor was amazing. The flavor was amazing. Even before I could drop the tea leaves, the flavor was amazing. Then finally, I drop the tea leaves, then put some sugar, put some milk at the end. I just finished relishing that. I just finished relishing that. I can't even explain the kind of taste that I felt each time I took a sip. Sometimes it was a little kadak, sometimes it was a little spicy, and all the time it was sweet. But when I was sipping this, I was just thinking, wow, how did people even find out that to make rasam, these are the ingredients? I don't think one day they woke up, our forefathers woke up and said, you want to make rasam, and this is how you do it. No, they tried something like what I tried right now. And they figured out that, hey, the chili is not working. Remove that chili. Hey, the turmeric is not working. Remove that. So it's all trial and error, right? Trial and error. Nothing came out. Nothing that today we are experiencing. I want you to think of any object that you're holding, any food that you have had, any dress that you've worn. Nothing came out perfect the first time. Nobody just woke up and said, I have a design for the best car in this world. No, everything came from trial and error. And that's the next piece that you need to keep in mind when it comes to creativity. Just let your mind free for the first time and later work on that idea. So I'm going to give you one technique that we use during workshops that we conduct for corporates. It's a brainstorming session that we do for anything that we want to achieve. The first part of our workshop is brainstorming. It has nothing to do with what that organization came to us for. Even they will start wondering, is this what I paid this guy for? This is not the problem statement I defined when I wanted this workshop. But we do this brainstorming technique. We call this, in fact, it is, you will find this on the internet also. It's not our own creation. It's called the scamper technique. Scamper. SCAMPER. It's just an acronym to the whole technique. So it will definitely help you even when you're writing a script for your speech. That's just one example. Anything you're making, right? And it could even be a script. Maybe I think for a better understanding, I will take the script as an example. What we all try writing, right, for our speeches. So if you're writing a script, the scamper helps you by applying certain techniques that you might otherwise not really apply. For example, I've just written it down. The first thing is substitute. Substitute. You've written your script, 600 words, 700 words. You have a story, you have some gyan, you have some message. Whole lot of things have come up there, and now you're staring at the script and say, how can I make it better? Or is it really better? So all those doubts are there, right? Now, this is a simple technique to clear those doubts. Now start thinking, what if I replace one with the other? It could be two characters. It could be two stories. Replace, straight away substitute X with Y, straight away. On the face of it, it might not make sense, but you have to try it. Do you know why? We all take stupidity for granted. We straight away negate stupidity. What I'm telling is embrace stupidity. I've written this in on LinkedIn about how we embrace stupidity in my organization. And there are so many wonderful things that have come out of this so-called stupidity. So you might immediately validate and say, hey, that's stupid. No. I think nobody with any sense will do that. No. Allow that stupidity to behave. Allow that stupidity to behave. I'm going to ask you, have you ever felt stupid? You have. You won't admit. You have. That means you're normal. So have that stupidity. So now substitute. And then go over it and see if it works. That's S. And the second one is combine. You have two lines. See how you can combine both. You have two stories. How you can combine both. I'm not saying that the story will have to be altered for the sake of combining. No. Maybe while combining, your statement will be much more powerful than what it is right now. But try combining. And again, don't think, oh, it is stupid. No, it doesn't work. Don't validate before you combine. Forcefully combine. Forcefully substitute. And that is how things come out. The problem why we don't do all this is we'll immediately validate and save time. Don't do that. My experience is don't do that. I have allowed stupidity to literally play in my works, and they've really helped me. And that is why when I see somebody doing stupid things, I salute them. Honestly, I salute them. The next one is adapt. Adapt something else in the place of what something is there. I've spoken about the fan was running so fast inside the room. That's probably the setup, right, to my story. Then let me see, oh, fan was running. Okay, why don't I switch that to adapt that to a light? So the light inside the room was flashing really bright. Now tell me, it really doesn't make any sense whether the fan is running fast or the light is glowing bright. For the audience, it's the same thing. What you tell is what it is. Both are digestible, both are acceptable, both are there people that have experience. So try adapting one of your concepts into something else in the same speech or from somewhere else, adapt it here. And the next one is modify. Try and completely modify a certain part of the script. I'm just taking script as an example. It applies to everything that you are trying to do in a creative environment, right? Try and modify something. Sometimes there is a thin line between substitute, combine, adapt, and modify, but each one you got to do. I'm now going to modify. I'm now going to adapt. I'm now going to combine. I'm now going to substitute. Maybe the things that you're doing might be the same, but you need to do that under that heading. You should consciously know that I'm modifying something that is there. And the next one is put to another use. Put this to another use. For example, I'm talking about the fan that is running fast inside the room. That's the start for my story. I will try and put that to in a later part of the speech. I'm not going to put here. I'll put it at the latest part of my speech. Many times I sit down to write my LinkedIn posts because my LinkedIn posts are all very serious in nature. There is no humor there. I've consciously earmarked LinkedIn for my serious thoughts. I write everything, then I sometimes feel the title is not working fine. And all of a sudden, when I put that to another use, the title for me becomes the conclusion. And surprisingly, it works well there. And then I start thinking of a different title. As recent as yesterday, I posted one LinkedIn post. For a long time when I was writing, the title was there. And somewhere I felt that I'm not able to conclude properly. And then suddenly I look at the title and say, hey, what are you doing here? I don't think this is the right place for you. Come down here. Come down. Come down. The guy was on top enjoying his position. I dragged him to the end of the script, the last position. He is definitely cursing me, but I'm feeling nice about it. It formed an excellent conclusion for me. And then later I went and did one title and everything kind of fell in place. I'm self-evaluating. I don't know if people liked it or people even thought that, oh, this is a stupid ending. This could be a title. But honestly, why should we care? I'm not writing for somebody to give me an Oscar there, right? It's my feelings, my wall. You want to feel good about reading this, feel good. You want to put a like, put a like. You want to put a comment, right? If you write something nasty, I'll throw you out. I'm not here for listening to negative stuff. But if you have something valuable yet negative, I'm going to take it. I'm definitely going to take it. But there are some people who are literally jealous of you, each of you, for whatever you're worth. There's somebody who's jealous of you, and they will come and comment. And when you read it, you know it is out of jealousy. Throw such people out of your life, literally throw. But I have some conditions. They can't be your family members, by the way. So you go back and tell your dad, I think you need to step out of my house. Because Jayan told me that I need to throw jealous people out. Some cases it is your own sibling. So the next one is eliminate. This is the most interesting part for me. And many of you don't. What I mean by eliminate is... Okay, I got muted by the host. I hope I'm audible. All right. Eliminate. This is a very serious thing because every time we do something creative, we are very possessive about that. We are very possessive about that. We get obsessed with what we have done. Same with the script. We've written something and I tell you, hey, eliminate that piece, eliminate that piece. This has happened to me when I'm mentoring. There are a lot of people come to me for mentoring for their contest speeches, and I say, hey, I think you should remove that paragraph. You should see their face; it will shrink. No, Jayan, you know what I thought for 10 hours to write that paragraph. How will I remove it? I know exactly what they're feeling. But if you're not courageous enough to eliminate something that you're obsessed with, then you're not fit enough to be doing that activity. I'm being brutal here, right? I've told this to myself many times. It's okay. But what I do is I copy and paste it somewhere and say, hey, dude, I'm not eliminating you. I'm keeping you for something else better. That's how we console ourselves. No, when something negative happens, in the name of God, we'll console yourself. No, don't worry. That small door did not open for you. There is a bigger door that's going to open for you, and that'll probably the graveyard door for us. So I don't get convinced about all these thoughts. Sorry about that, but elimination is very important. Sit down and think. I want to remove 3 things from this. 3 things from this. You'll be surprised that you will find those 3 things. You will remove those 3 things, and yet your script is intact. You saved 40 seconds. That's fantastic. So elimination is very important. And finally, the last one is reverse or reorganize. What you need to do is, have you done this? I'm curious to know if any of you have done this. I've done this stupid stuff. I write a paragraph or 2-3 paragraphs, not a script, because I'm very poor at writing scripts, but I write some content for my LinkedIn, for my website. I start reading it from the bottom. It doesn't make any sense, okay? It just doesn't make any sense. I'll start reading from the bottom. The last paragraph, the previous paragraph, and then I keep to the top. And then I say, is it making sense somewhere? Do you know what happens when you do this? You suddenly feel that last paragraph is not fit to be in the last place. It should be in the 3rd place. The first paragraphs will have to move to the 4th place. Suddenly your mind is thinking, wow, man, this flow is good. That flow is good. Fantastic. Had I not read it in the reverse format, I wouldn't have found this. So the scamper technique for brainstorming, it need not lead to anything concrete. By doing all these steps, finally your script is the same. That means you're validated based on a certain technique and you feel that your script is written in the right way. But don't announce yourself that the script has arrived before doing these steps. And let me tell you, you need to start with the assumption that these are all stupid steps. Only then you will start admiring any little outcome that comes out of these steps. Now, if I tell you, use the scamper, guys, if you use scamper, your script will be one of the most important pieces in your life that you've ever written. And this is a winning script and all that nonsense. You will take this scamper methodology to be God-given and you will religiously do. And finally, nothing happens in your script. You will start doubting your own capability. You will not doubt my methodology because, oh, Jayan, he has done a lot of research he has given me, so I'm not going to doubt his methodology. You will start doubting yourself, and I don't want that to happen. So this is a stupid methodology, let me tell you. And had I told you in the beginning that this is one of the most stupid methodologies that anybody can use, you wouldn't have listened to me. Abde mute la potu, abde video off panni, macam or masala tea panlan, you would have vanished. So keep the important message at the end. And my message is very simple. This is the most stupid methodology that you will ever find in your life. But for my sake, try it once. Chances are you'll fall in love. Chances are you'll fall in love. The next technique that I want to talk about, I wanted to give you some exercises with pen and paper. Then I thought I did that in the last Hive session, so I should not repeat. Some of you might have done that. But probably if any of you are keen, you can ask and I can tell you that because I don't want to repeat something that I did last time because there are so many ways to do these things. And these are not things that I'm building on myself inside me. These are things that are there on the internet. You can read as much as possible. And these things work. Interestingly, these things have worked for me and that's why I'm sharing with you because without trying, I should not be sharing something. And the participants in my workshops have really loved it and they found some amazing changes in the things that they're doing. Another thing that I hope the timer is visible, because if it is time, Aarti, maybe you can do the extra timer role and unmute and say, Jayan, stop. Okay. Right. So the next one that I really want to talk about is, which was not planned, but I definitely want to say this. I want you all to focus on your muscle memory. Some people call it the finger memory. Some people call the muscle memory. The easiest example of muscle memory is the way we drive, or we ride a bike, ride a cycle, drive a car. It is all muscle memory. I don't think you all climb onto the cycle and say, hey, legs. Now what you need to do is put your foot on the right pedal, put the left foot on the left pedal, and then start pressing. And hey, hands, hold the steering or the handlebar straight. And mind you, the brake is right underneath. Right? And you're telling your mind, saying that now you need to start balancing, which is the difficult part. The leg will do its job, the hand will do its job. You are seated on a cushioned seat, but mind, now you need to start balancing. Have you ever told that to yourself when you ride the bicycle? Have you ever even realized that how you ride the bicycle these days? Meaning once you master it, not while learning. You've fallen so many times, you questioned your capability, you questioned the teacher's capability, which is most often your dad. So all that we have come out of it. And then today, have you ever thought how you do that? Riding a bike, the gears on the left side, you're changing 1, 2, 3, 4. The scooter bikes these days, everything is automatic. We are most pampered adults in the world, but yet if you have a gear, are you even thinking about it? No. Unconsciously, subconsciously, we are doing many things, and life goes on. Same with the car. We are on a call, we are holding the steering, we are changing gears, we are pressing the clutch, we are pressing the brake, we are pressing the accelerator, multiple things. And this is nothing but muscle memory. Our fingers and legs can easily catch certain things and do without the brain asking them to do. But deep inside, that is what is happening, because that cannot be changed. But there is something called a muscle memory. So the reason why I'm explaining this to you is, sometimes for a subjective problem statement, give an answer in a completely unrelated way. Try and bring an answer in a completely unrelated way. Yeah, some of you are blinking, but let me tell you what you got to do. Maybe I'm going to try that here. I don't know whether it will work. How is this session so far? Is the question. How is this session so far? I want you all to quickly, next 30 seconds, pick up something that is lying right next to you and build something with that. Build something. Take a piece of paper, fold it and make it into a bird or something. Or just take a pen and try connecting the pens. Or if you have Lego blocks with you, nothing like it, just make something out of it. Or take a bottle and flip it and then do something about it. Do something with the things that are there, but you are answering this question, how is the session so far? And all that you have is 30 seconds. Right. I'm going to ask, some people have already done it. And Dinesh, if you can unmute and give me the answer. You're showing me something, I don't know what that is.
Well, so this is a small bag which you can just tie down together. You can put stuff in and then zip it and then use it later on. So I think this session was very fruitful. I had a bag full of thoughts to carry forward with me.
Oh, fantastic. So that's called the surukappai, right?
Yeah, our beloved way of telling it.
Fantastic. I grew up looking at all that. So bag full of things that you can carry with you?
Yes, a lot of food for thought.
Oh, food for thought. Fantastic. Okay, Aarti, you're holding your child's toy, but what is that? Oh, all right. Okay.
It's kind of like a Lego. Initially, I was not too clear in terms of how you started. I was trying to figure that out. And slowly it started, flowing straight and smoothly. And I'm able to see the output, like a little tap. I'm able to see the outcome of the entire session.
Oh, fantastic. Great. Anybody else have something? Were you able to manage to build something? I saw
Yes.
Suman sir in the meeting. Sir,
I have a power bank. Your session was as equal as so powerful.
oh, as I lost that word. You have a power bank, right, with you?
Yes, it also your session was powerful as this power bank.
Oh, okay. I hope it is not drained. So you kept that's fantastic. So anybody else? You were able to build something?
Charging. The session is charging.
Oh, the session is charging. Okay, fine.
So, hi, this is Ravi. I think you are able to see my video. So, I just have my water bottle. It has a headphones over it and a power bank. So, it would be like it is a bottle which is full. Okay, I just filled the bottle. Previously, it was empty. So, it means like hearing your speech, the bottle is full with knowledge, with creativity, and as they suggested, right? I have a power bank also. It emphasizes that we are charged to charge many.
Oh, fantastic. I really love that. And you guys are really kind. So you're being nice to me. Anybody?
Hi, Jayan, this is Amir.
Sorry?
I'm Amir.
Amir?
Yeah, I just built a little like home like books. So it shows like how like connected your speeches and shows the presentations. I think the key factors that you mentioned, everything is supported.
I'm trying to read the title of the book on the top. What is that? The?
Okay. Immortals
The
of
Immortals of Meluha.
Oh, okay, fantastic. Even that had a message, I think. Great, Amir, fantastic. So very clearly, this exercise is to tell all of us that we all are creative. We don't think alike. We all are special by ourselves. Individually, we are very special by ourselves. And imagine collectively how strong can we be. The creativity when done collectively is the most powerful thing. Collectively. So when you have a team at work in office, please don't think I want to separately think. You can have that corner for you, but you must bring people together. You must bring people together. Collectively, our thoughts can move mountains. It can move mountains. Just see now what people did. I just said do something, and it is about a very subjective question. How was the session so far? So Aarti said, I didn't understand what it was in the beginning. Aarti, even I didn't understand where it was heading. So I take some time to compose myself. So that's why I do those blabberings and the gibberish that you hear in the beginning. So that's one. He showed up quickly, took a surukupai. You think that Dinesh would have taken that surukupai and kept it there and then think, oh, Jayan is going to ask me how good was the session, so I need to be prepared and keep it ready, and then I'll show the surukupai. No, it was just lying there. Somebody else talked about water bottle, the charger, power bank, and Amir talked about books, and he arranged those books. Now, each of you will have to be so proud of what you were able to build right now. Yourself, you need to be proud. And if you were scared, what if this guy starts validating and say, I have power bank? Cha, surukupaya, cha, enna kevalam. No, none of you validated that, right? You didn't care. You wanted to just go ahead and do it. I don't know how many people are there in this session. Each one of you imagine giving me the answers to this question. So the next idea that I want to tell you is muscle memory. Every time you have a problem and you want to solve it the most creative way possible, give yourself 5 minutes time. Just 5 minutes is what I'm asking you. Use your muscle memory to build something. Don't think and build. Don't design and build. Just go ahead and build. We used Lego toys in most of our workshops. Many Toastmasters have attended our sessions as well. We used Lego blocks, and we asked this question. Towards the end of the session, we asked this question and asked them to build something using Lego blocks. You'll be surprised to see what people build. They're quickly going ahead and building. Do you know why this works? If you don't explain what you have built, has no meaning. Imagine all of you now just showed up the object, say, example, Dinesh. He just showed up that surukupai and does not explain. And that's left to my imagination. So I can think whatever I want. Oh my God, he thinks me that I'm like still inside a shell. I'm not giving him much. I'm not giving him a huge sack. I'm only giving him one small bag, and that too it's tied on the top. So he's not able to see what is there inside. That means he doesn't understand what I'm trying to teach. Imagine my imagination. going wild, and whereas he did not even think anything on those lines. I really don't know whether he thought inside his mind, but he was kind enough when he told that. But yet, right? So they go hand in hand. They go hand in hand. So your muscle memory is the first step, and your explanation is the second step, and that is where your brain is coming to play. Your brain is building on what it is seeing. And every time these three people were explaining what they built, do you know what the brain was cautioning them? Be kind to this guy. It was constantly cautioning them, be kind to this guy. I'm going to do a reverse thing.
Green?
Sorry?
Green.
Green? Oh, yeah, the color is... Okay, fine. I thought you were answering my question, and I was wondering, what did I even ask? Did I say ask favorite color? And
I'm so sorry.
Thank you, Aarti. Yeah. But let's see. End of the day, we need to be casual about the whole thing, not fret and tension. Your timer kaatalan. Let's be cool, man. End of the day, we are all humans. So let the friction get away from us. So all these people were telling themselves, like, be kind to these people. Amir could have built that book and say, hey, your thing session was not all that great. It is like loosely like a skeleton, 2 pillars and 1 bar on the flat. Anybody can do that. And what is great about your session? He could do that, but his brain was cautioning him, be kind to that speaker. So kindness is an aspect that you need to always keep in your mind. Whether you like it or not, just be kind to people. They love it. And this is something that I learned in Toastmasters. When people evaluated my speeches, they're the kindest souls you will ever see in your life, all the evaluators. And one day you need to be an evaluator. If you're new to Toastmasters, some of you here, please take this role when you get time. You learn to be kind. You will also learn to bluff a lot, but that's okay. For kindness, it's okay to bluff. Because people grow through kindness. People grow through kindness. And kindness can bring out so many potentials from people. So this is a parenting tip that I'm giving all of you. If you're trying to be a strict parent and then whack your child and get things out of them, I think don't do that. I've been a victim of that for many years in my life, but I'm just seriously telling, don't do that. Kindness can bring in amazing potential from people. And another reason why I'm telling you is you will completely change your perspective about people's creative outputs. You will completely change about people's perspectives. Imagine he showed you a Surkupai, he showed the books, Aarti showed this. I could have ridiculed their creative output straight away. What rubbish is this? Surkupaya. Next. I completely crushed somebody's thought that he can be creative. He can be confident. He has enough potential. Kindness is part of everything that maybe books don't teach us. So next time when you see somebody's creative output, your mind might tell it is horrible, but the first word that must come out of your mouth is only kindness. Wow, amazing. Have you heard this from an evaluator? What a fantastic speech, Jayan. I know I goofed it up, but I felt nice listening to that from people because this guy is putting me on a pedestal in front of the outside world. And that's exactly what each of us look for. And that's definitely important. So the kindness factor is something that I really want to mention as part of this whole gyan about creativity. So something that I repeat in other sessions, today I didn't want to repeat that. Take a piece of paper every Monday. This is an exercise I keep telling people. Every Monday, do this. Whether you are working from home, working from office, it doesn't matter because you're doing it for yourself. Not to your boss or not for anybody else. Oh, Jayan asked me to do, so I'm doing. No. Take a piece of A4 size paper, draw circles, 3 in a row, separate circles. And how many ever rows you can fit in, 10 circles, 12 circles, or whatever you can. Ideally, my ask is 30 circles, but you can do it later. Now start with 9 circles, maybe 3 in a row and 3 rows. Convert that circle into objects, round objects. Draw. Don't even think and stop. I want you to draw. Take that effort to move your finger and use the pencil and draw. and don't draw anything outside the circle. Everything that you draw should be inside the circle. So you will end up converting that circle into an object. And make sure that you don't repeat the same category. Like you draw 9 planets and say, hey, I drew 9 objects. No, one could be a planet, another one could be a football, another one could be a clock. I'm just giving you some examples. It could be anything. Yeah, finish this. And if you're having 9 circles or 10 circles, your time limit is 30 seconds. If you have 30 circles, your time limit is 1 minute. And this is the boundary that I'm talking about. Creativity will not come out if you don't have boundaries around you. People say outside the box. I'm saying inside the box. Your boundaries will have to be set by you in terms of time limit or a certain restriction that you want to give. Your brain works really well when it comes to creativity only with pressure. Boundary pressure, time pressure, limitation pressure, paper size pressure. All these pressures will have to be there. Your brain will really work wonderfully. So these 9 circles, if you can think of 9 objects and then pin it up somewhere or put it in a file. The next Monday, take a piece of paper, do the same thing, but don't repeat what you did the previous week. Find new circular objects, find new circular objects. I've heard people telling me I drew a donut, I drew a vada. For me, both are same. And then somebody left the circle just like that. And I said, what happened? No, that's a 0. I said, okay. And somebody else said that is an O. I said, okay. These are lazy bums, okay? I'm noting down. During my workshops, I note down all these and then pick them and then brutally harass them at the end of the session. But that's okay. But that is the end of the day, it is creativity. Now, quick question to all of you. And with that, I'm going to wind up before Aarti shouts red. So Aarti, be kind, okay? So the next thing that I want to ask you, maybe unmute. If any of you do not have disturbances around you, you can unmute yourself. What are the round objects that you see around you right now? Just look around at what objects you see. You can type it in the chat if you want. But just tell me only objects you are seeing.
Points.
Thinking.
Your feet behind sunflower.
Sunflower behind.
₹5 coin.
Fine.
And Beerus, like a big Beerus locker, that keyhole.
Oh,
outside it will be like, yeah.
Okay.
Outside it will be like a circle.
All right. Wall
camera.
Fan regulators.
Battery.
Design in the mirror.
Wall clock.
The phone camera. Inside.
Timepiece.
Oh, the
OSM looks like round.
Raining for somebody outside? I just asked you, what do you see right now? Not what you're dreaming right now.
Recording icon.
Recording.
Circle.
Mouse scroller. Wow, somebody just put the mouse upside down. Pupil, the eye pupil. Okay, you're round about.
Sunflower behind you.
Nail top. Coconut. Are you sitting in the kitchen?
Upstairs.
I'm seeing lid of the bucket.
Oh, the mask that you're wearing probably. Okay.
I'm seeing lid of your bucket.
Lid of your bucket. Oh,
yeah.
Fantastic. Okay. So around you, matlab.
Telephone tape.
Telephone tape. Okay. Oh yeah. All right. Sanitizer cap. Okay.
Water bottle.
Bottle. Steady eyes.
I could see a broadband cable rounded and bundled it.
Okay.
Bangles.
All right.
Bangles.
Sorry?
Bangles.
Bangles. Yeah, I just somebody typed that. Hairband. Yeah. ₹2 coin. Oh, these coins are still available, is it? Okay. Fine. So, if you can just pause here, Google Chrome icon, Abir, thank you. Now, in the first instance, I told you take 9 circles and draw something. I'm very sure you guys wouldn't have even looked around and thought of these objects. Do you know why? You think you're way too smart. இப்படியெல்லாம் problem கொடுத்தா, I will only think, I will get my brain to think. Clock, globe. Yeah, that is how you need to think, right? We all, take things around us for granted. If you're writing a script, the stories are around you. The messages are around you, but we take all those things for granted. We go beyond. And that's how we feel hep, we feel we are smart, we are brainy. No. The moment next time you have a problem in front of you, all that you need to think is, do I see some kind of a solution around me? Don't give brain all the time work here. It'll get heated up and it'll throw all stupid stuffs. Just look around. Imagine if you had given these answers immediately, you saw how many items that came up? And I was talking about 30 items in 1 minute, and you came up with like 45 items in less than like 40 seconds. And these are all things right in front of you. So this is something that I want to strongly leave behind today is there are solutions, or there are leads to solutions just around us. Just around us. And we often ignore things around us. And my mom always used to tell one famous saying in Malayalam. I never understood what she meant. Muttatte mullekku manamilla. I don't know how many of you understand Malayalam. Muttatte mullekku manamilla. So if I have to roughly translate that into English, the jasmine flower that is right in front of you doesn't smell. And we go looking for the flowers that really smell. Because we don't value things that we all are holding, including your ability to be creative. We don't know. We always keep suspecting, doubting, judging, whatever we have. Forget others doing it. We ourselves do it. And this is one solid example. So the next time you have a problem, look around. You will find the fantastic solution. The fantastic solution. Thank you for allowing me to look around. I met so many amazing people. Thank you so much, Aarti, for inviting me today.
Thank you so much, Jayan.